And welcome once again to The Verdict. Good morning. I'm Mick Cornett along with Kent Myers. We're glad you're with us. We're here every week meeting interesting people and talking about topical issues. And this week we have really some of both, topical issues and interesting people.
Well, we do. We have two representatives of the Oklahoma Bar Association going to talk to us about what's going on at the bar. Now, normally that wouldn't make a show, but there's enough things going on out there that are a little unusual and very interesting, we think, and we hope you'll enjoy it. The president of the Oklahoma Bar Association will be with us, and a past president of the Bar Association will be joining him. And we'll be talking about what kind of activities going on, particularly the relationship or interaction between the Bar Association and the legislature.
And we'll get to it. You're watching The Verdict, and we'll be right back.
Every day America uses clean-burning natural gas instead of coal or oil is a day of victory for our environment. That's why Chesapeake chose to explore for natural gas exclusively, and we've never looked back. Because natural gas burns twice as clean as oil or coal, and reducing carbon emissions to combat potential global warming is every bit as urgent as cutting our dependence on energy imports. As America's #1 driller of new gas wells, Chesapeake is moving fast to find untapped reserves of natural gas here at home. It's the right fuel for America's economy and the fuel for a clean air future. We just happen to be early to see it so clearly. Chesapeake, natural gas wins the day.
Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate. We're accountants. We do taxes, business valuations, estate planning, and consulting. And we're right here in Oklahoma, working with the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. Steve Wilsey and Stuart Meyer have the resources and the experience. Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate in Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, and Kent's going to introduce today's guest.
Very pleased today to have two guests representing the Oklahoma Bar Association. On my right is Jon Parsley. Jon is a native of Guymon, Oklahoma, and practices law as a solo practitioner in Guymon and has for a number of years. He did his undergraduate work at the University of Central Oklahoma and his law work at the University of Oklahoma for about 9 years. He was a partner with a very good friend of mine, David Kent Petty. And David Kent, if you're watching, hello to you. Jon has been recently elected the president of the Oklahoma Bar Association, and he's here today to talk to us about what's going on. Jon, welcome.
Glad to be here, Kent.
On my left is another friend, Bill Grimm. Bill is a lawyer that practices in Tulsa with the firm of Barrow and Grimm. He's a past president of the Oklahoma Bar Association. He did his undergraduate and law work at the University of Oklahoma and has practiced privately in Tulsa, very successfully, I might add, for a number of years. And he's currently involved with the Oklahoma Bar Association in kind of reviewing and commenting on some of the legislative activity that's going on now with the legislature. Well, with as this show airs, with the legislature just having gone out of session. Bill, thanks for coming over from Tulsa.
Well, thank you. Nice to be here.
Jon, tell us what's going on generally at the Oklahoma Bar Association.
Well, Mick, as you know, the Oklahoma Bar Association is an arm of the Oklahoma Supreme Court that is responsible for the attorneys in the state of Oklahoma. We have a lot of great activities that we have every year. One of the exciting things that we just have finished is a process of hiring a new general counsel for our association. Our past general counsel left at the end of the year, and we've gone through an extensive process, and just last Monday, our new general counsel, an attorney named Gina Hendricks from Oklahoma City, was hired as the new general counsel. We also have some other big events coming up. We have a solo small firm conference in June. We have a technology fair that we're going to be having this year as part of an American Bar Association activity that's going throughout the country. We've been lucky enough to secure them to come and do a technology fair in September. We have a Women in Law conference coming up, and we've secured Sherry Blair, who is Prime Minister Tony Blair from Great Britain's wife, and who is the Queen's Counsel. She's going to be the keynote speaker for that.
That'll be fascinating.
And so we've got a great number of activities coming up for our association, and we're excited about those.
Well, let me ask you about one that you just finished, the annual Ask a Lawyer program. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that, and how did it go, by the way?
Well, the Ask a Lawyer program was great this year. It was very well received. This year we moved to kind of a town hall format where we had 3 experts answered questions from the crowd. That went great. Chief Justice Edmondson spoke with the winners of our Law Day contests, and he did a great job with those children. And it was just Law Day this year. We had festivities throughout the state, and it was a great event.
Bill, let me turn to you and ask you, I know that this past legislative session you've been very active, probably not doing much private law practice, doing a lot of work for the bar. You're a past president of the Bar Association. Now, I guess John asked you to have kind of some special duty. Can you tell our viewers about that?
Sure. This year, I've been asked to co-chair the Administration of Justice Task Force, which we've been looking at numerous bills that have been proposed by the legislature, particularly the ones that affect the courts, the practice of law, and the administration of justice. And in that regard, we kind of liken ourselves to the law firm for the Board of Governors, because it's actually the Board of Governors who speaks for the Bar Association when the House of Delegates is out of session. So we have been providing written opinions on various bills that have been proposed, and then it's up to the Board of Governors to adopt a position one way or another.
How many bills would you think that you've dealt with?
Well, just over the past 2 months, I would say somewhere around 8 to 10 bills we have written opinions that have been submitted to the Board of Governors, and then there's probably another 13, 14 bills that we've looked at, and for one reason or another, they have not made it onto the floor of one house or the other, so we've just kind of stopped any work on that.
Well, let me ask you one follow-up on that. When you give your written opinion to the Board of Governors of the Oklahoma Bar Association, what is the expectation of what the Board of Governors may do?
Well, we provide a recommendation to the Board of Governors how we feel about a particular bill, and then it's up to the Board of Governors. They conduct their own determination based upon our opinion, and then they'll go ahead and vote one way or another. I can say to date, I believe that the Board of Governors has adopted each one of our positions. We have all of the opinions that have been prepared are on the OBA website and available for public viewing.
So they're not secret or anything?
No, no.
Well, John, how does the bar view its role in taking a public position on existing legislation?
Well, Mick, there are certain issues that the Oklahoma Bar Association can take a position on. We don't take a position on general public issues like abortion or anything like that. We take a stand on issues that affect the administration of justice, lawyers, the courts, the selection of judges. Issues that are at the core of the administration of justice, we feel like are within the purview of things that we should be taking a position on.
As president of the bar and not a member of Bill's committee, how has the Board of Governors? Oh, you as president of the bar, you also chair the Board of Governors, do you not?
Yes, that's correct.
How's the Board of Governors reacted to the opinions that Bill's group has given you?
Well, as Bill outlined, the Administration of Justice Task Force was put together by the Board of Governors. And it is a blue ribbon panel of attorneys from throughout the state who are well respected. Those opinions that came out of that group were reviewed by the Board of Governors, and those have been adopted as the official position of the Oklahoma Bar Association.
Are you keeping track about how those positions correlated to what the legislature actually did?
Well, for one example, we took a position against the bill that would put a cap on attorney fees, send that to the vote of the people, and that was defeated in the Senate. And so we feel like we're doing some good, and we've let our position be known on some legislation that appears to be very devastating to the rights of citizens of Oklahoma.
All right. We're going to take a break and get right back to it. We're discussing the activities of the Oklahoma Bar Association and pending legislation that's in front of our legislature out at the Capitol. You're watching The Verdict, and we'll be right back.
I'm Beulah Shavney, and I'm an original member of the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, and I'm Chickasaw. I worked at the Phoenix Indian Hospital for a year, and then there was the war. I felt like it was my duty I wanted in the Army, so I made it, got in, and it was a good feeling to put that uniform on. We were one of a kind that started something and finished it. To see these women go in today, they are really doing a great job. And I'm very proud to look back now and see that I was one of the first ones of the Army that went in. There is just something that stands out about Chickasaw women. They want to go as far as they can go and succeed. I've got to do my best because I'm Chickasaw.
Okiwani is an Indian name for a place where children play. When we obtained the camp, we found a lot of oil debris left in the woods. We saw a commercial about how the oil and natural gas industry cleans up old oil well sites. We called the OERB, and they agreed to remove tons of concrete and steel. It didn't cost us a thing. Thousands of children have left their footprints on this land. Thanks to the oil and gas industry, they will for a long time to come.
Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers, and we're discussing the activities of the Oklahoma Bar Association. John, I wanted to ask you, what's the responsibility of the bar insofar as helping the state Supreme Court in regulating the profession?
Well, Mick, as I mentioned a moment ago, the Oklahoma Bar Association is an arm of the Oklahoma Supreme Court.
Created by statute?
Created by the Constitution and statutes of Oklahoma. And we are in charge of attorney discipline, and that's one of the ways that we regulate the practice of law. The General Counsel's Office of the Oklahoma Bar Association is in charge of attorney discipline. And that system, they investigate claims or grievances that are filed. Those are then presented to the Professional Responsibility Commission, which is a group that is appointed by the president of the association. And they act as kind of a grand jury and decide what charges are going to move forward. Then any charges are tried before a professional responsibility tribunal, which decides basically the case as kind of a court. And then every discipline case then is reviewed by the Supreme Court de novo, which means anew, which means they look at it fresh and make an opinion on those. And there's also some other ways that we regulate the profession, but that's the main function that we regulate.
Well, Bill, I am generally familiar with the Client Security Fund, but only generally. Can you tell our viewers what that is?
Sure. The Client Security Fund was created by Supreme Court rule back in the 1970s. And each year, the OBA takes $100,000 out of its budget and assigns it over to the Client Security Fund. And this fund is set aside solely for the purpose of reimbursing former clients from lawyers who have been disbarred of certain fees, settlements, the funds that they have lost. And it goes through an annual process where claims are submitted through the General Counsel's office. Those will then be processed through the Client Security Fund. And I can say over the years, we get a history of it on the Board of Governors, and I'd say over the years, there's been several $1 million paid out to the citizens of Oklahoma for lawyers who have taken their money.
Well, so if a client feels as though they've been wronged in some fashion by a lawyer through misconduct or being disbarred or not attending to duties, whatever it may be, they can contact the Bar Association, and the Bar Association will tell them how to file a claim?
That's correct. They're on the website. There is a form that can be downloaded, filled out, and submitted through the General Counsel's office. From that, it goes to the Client Security Fund Committee, and then they meet 2-3 times a year to go over the claims, and then annually they'll put together a list of all claims that have been approved, submit it to the Board of Governors, and then the Board of Governors will approve that list, and those funds will be paid. Things that aren't paid out of the fund would be like a judgment against an ex-lawyer, a civil judgment, any kind of damages, fees along those lines for malpractice. But the taking of client monies, we believe is a very serious offense, and not only will the lawyer become disbarred, but we as an association want to give back to those clients who've suffered.
John, tell me about Lawyers Helping Lawyers.
Well, Mick, Lawyers Helping Lawyers is another service program that we have within the Bar Association that has been around for years. It initially was geared more towards alcohol abuse or problems relating to that. Recently, we've expanded that program. In 2005, we had a phenomenon where we were having attorneys committing suicide at an alarming rate of about 1 per month. When that came to light, we expanded the Lawyers Helping Lawyers program to also include crisis counseling for attorneys, and also, in some instances, attorneys' family members for more than just substance abuse issues. So we still have a core group of volunteers that handle those issues also, but we've expanded the program to help our own, and we kind of feel like Lawyers Helping Lawyers is one of the things that we should be doing, taking care of our own.
Well, is there any confidentiality attached to this? I mean, if a lawyer asks for help, is that something that's going to be published in the Bar Journal or something?
Absolutely not, and that's a good point. Lawyers Helping Lawyers is a completely confidential program that
Supreme Court won't know about it?
They won't know about it, and in fact, no one at the Bar Association knows the names of any clients who have gone through the program. We get a bare set of numbers from our service providers, and that's all we get. We don't know who it is, and that anonymity is what makes the program work.
And who funds the program?
It's funded by the Oklahoma Bar Association from our budget.
Which is out of dues?
Yes, there are no public funds. We don't get any tax money at the Oklahoma Bar Association. The Oklahoma Bar Association works from revenue that we get from dues, as well as we get monies from CLE, with continuing legal education programs that we put on. And there's a couple of other smaller sources, but that's the majority of our dues structure.
Is the amount of your budget public?
The amount of our budget is public. We have an approximately $7 million budget.
Annual budget?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's all dues funded?
That is dues and continuing legal education is the vast majority of it.
Yeah. Bill, what is the bar's function, or what does it do to educate the public about the function of the bar, function and administration of justice? Do you have some public programs?
Yes, we do, Kent. There's several programs. The primary one is the law-related education program that is funded by the Bar Association. It goes out to civic groups, nonprofits, and primarily any educational groups. In the law-related education, teachers will receive materials, lessons plans. We provide lawyers to come into the classroom to speak to students or any other organization. And these different groups then learn about 8th grade civics all over again, what their duties are, their responsibilities, and their rights. We have pamphlets that can be downloaded not only from the website, but a lot of them are in the various courthouses throughout the state. We have the Young Lawyers Group, and that's a division of the Bar Association, primarily consists of lawyers who are less than, I believe it's 10 years or 35 years or below. And those lawyers have provided all sorts of different programs. There's a Wills for Heroes, where they provide free wills for our police, fire, military. They have pamphlets that they have for volunteers and for seniors that are also distributed. There's the National Mock Trial that is funded from the law-related education. So we spend quite a bit of our dues money on assisting with the education of the public.
And why does the Bar Association, and ask each of you to comment on this, why does the Bar Association think that's important?
Part of our job as lawyers is to educate the public on their rights and their duties. And so the Bar Association has always felt it's been part of their public service to provide this information so that people are better educated, not only so they can be responsible as citizens, but so that they can understand their role in society also.
John?
And I would echo that. It's just we feel very strongly that we're not an association that is just to provide services for our members and just for lawyers. We feel like we need to provide public service, and through these public service programs that the Young Lawyers Division and several different divisions of our bar do, we feel like we do that.
How is the Bar Association functioning today, and how is it evolving?
The Bar Association is functioning very well, and I'm very proud of the staff that we have. We have a wonderful staff that makes my job easy, but right now our funding is good, and we are functioning at a level that I think we're providing a great service to our members as well as the public.
Mm-hmm. And you're helping out high school and college age people as well.
So that's correct, and Bill was talking about the mock trial program. That's one of the main things that's in the high schools. That's a great program.
We're going to get to our final break, but thank you all both for being our guests on The Verdict. Jon Parsley and William Grimm, President and past President of the Oklahoma Bar Association. Kent and I'll have a final word right after this.
It's time to meet the new people in power.
The people responsible for our energy future.
It's you.
It's me, all of us together.
From now on, we're the people in power.
OG&E will supply the power.
It's how we apply the power that counts.
We've got to use electricity smarter,
wiser,
cleaner,
better.
So we've got to be informed,
equipped, prepared,
committed.
From now on.
Look, nobody wants to waste energy.
Nobody wants to build new power plants.
Nobody wants to pay more for electricity.
But nobody wants to give up their way of life.
We don't have to.
If we just use positive energy together.
I'll take advantage of off-peak hours.
That means cutting energy use from 1 to 7 every day.
Every day.
I'm going to sign up for more and more wind power.
We'll take advantage of the high-tech tools coming soon from OG&E.
OG&E can't do it alone.
It's you and OG&E working together.
Find dozens of ways you can help at OGE.com.
A positive energy future is in our power. Together.
good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett and Kent Myers. We're wrapping up a show on the Oklahoma Bar Association with Jon Parsley and Bill Grimm.
A lot of lawyers involved in the Oklahoma Bar Association.
16,000, did you say?
16,000, yeah.
That surprises me.
Well, I'm sure our viewers aren't necessarily surprised. They think there's a lawyer hiding behind every tree with a card in their hand. But Bill Grimm, past president, and Jon Parsley, the current president, are doing a fine job running that organization under the supervision of the Oklahoma Supreme Court, and they've got a lot to do to keep their jobs done correctly. It's not basically a non-paying position that they take a year off of the practice to do. So it's quite a public service.
You can tell, though, that they feel a responsibility to be involved in the community and offer free services when necessary or when appropriate, and also to help each other. I thought that was a good program, the lawyers helping lawyers.
Yes, well, and it's amazing. Some of the reasons that the suicide rate went up was the pressure of the profession, the mental strains that are placed on lawyers, and they're trying to assist with that as well.
Well, we have a website we'd love to see you go to, theverdict.tv. Till then, we'll see you next week.
The preceding program was produced exclusively for the Cox Channel.